we're going to head into the concept of being naked. I'll get there. But let's start with this magazine. Season 1, Survivor, and I win. And the headlines are all over the place. The sole survivor. All hail the champ. Buck naked corporate trainer. Entertainment Weekly, interesting article inside, comes up and talks about their perspective of who I am, having just watched me win season 1 of Survivor. And the interaction between Rudy and me is discussed in here, and I think it's wonderful. The way people seemed to understand that, probably more than they even understood the game at this point. But one of the things that they talk about in this article, and one of the things that is still lingering 20 years later, this particular author says, another positive Richard effect has to do with realistic body image. That this winner maintained his abdominal rubber tire after grueling weeks of eating gruel and fish did more to convince Americans that body fat is genetic and not to be exercised or starved off than 1,000 editions of Oprah. So this guy's talking about what it meant for me to be naked in this enormous show with 54 million viewers, etc. And here we are 20 years later, almost, it feels to me, headed in the opposite direction. People are wrongly conflating, often, nudity with sexual harassment. They aren't the same. They aren't really even related. Sexual harassment is the power trip, the abusing of another in a way for sexual gain. And nudity need not have anything to do with sexuality. For me, on the show and in life, my being naked, I think, is a reaction to my having been very uncomfortable with my own body as a child, in a culture in which no one talked about sexuality or nudity. I didn't have adults who talked with me about what I was feeling or thinking, or how my body might change, how I might feel in different circumstances. And as someone who was raped at 8 years old and then molested again at 10, there were lots of opportunities for adults in my life to have learned more about who I was and what I was experiencing and help me deal with those kinds of situations. But that didn't happen. And so on my own, as I went through school, in the gym, and in the showers afterwards, etc., I learned what it was like to feel badly about one's own body, and then had to make decisions as I matured about how to handle that. And I'll accept criticism that, hey, now you're way over here on the spectrum, and you may be right. Perhaps I am way over here in reaction to having been so shy at one point in my life. But as a reflective guy who thinks about what makes most sense, I look around the world and I feel confident that the healthier place to be is over here somewhere, where it's natural to be naked, where I'm not concerned about my role or how I look from the side versus the front, etc. those kind of superficial concerns that were constraining and affected my self-esteem as a child aren't present any longer, at least in the way that they were. And I think that's healthier. I think as a role model or an example to others in this environment where they may talk about me because I've been on television, I think the conversation is a good one to have around the idea of what it means to be naked. Never mind when you're on a deserted island camping, which is what we were doing, and everyone was naked. I hope people understand that the editing is such that in order to make this unscripted drama dramatic and interesting, they made the show, they edited the show in such a way that you dealt with my nudity and not others around me. So I accept the idea that context is important. I don't necessarily walk into a boardroom naked without there being a reason to do so. I don't walk around New York City without clothing on. Though I like the idea that there are some cities where nudity is legal. I think it is San Francisco, or it was San Francisco, and people did that. I'm appalled by the idea that I can go to the beach and enjoy the comfort of walking around without my shirt, but women can't. That's nauseatingly irrational. It's absurd in a culture where we supposedly have evolved and respect intelligence and equality. I just don't think we do, and those are examples of it. Why aren't women allowed to do what men are allowed to do? Why are women hypersexualized? And you might say, is it the chicken or the egg? Which came first? But in cultures in Europe, for example, and other places, South America, where nudity isn't such an awful sexual hidden thing, there is less problem with sexual perversion. There is less conflation of sexual harassment and nudity. And that's better. That's healthier. People, children particularly, who grow up with the idea that nudity isn't necessarily sexual and that men and women have bodies and we all have them and they're all different shapes and sizes and there isn't a perfection associated with bodies being naked that is also then linked, as it is in Playboy and those other magazines, to being sexual. That's healthier. And so I'm not suggesting that I, in any calculated way, am on a mission to make people think the way I am, but I fully accept and am enthusiastic about the idea that because this is a way in which I've evolved in my lifetime to feel healthier about myself, that a conversation is appropriate. I love that. And I'm happy to engage anytime. People collect all kinds of things. And this magazine, which I'll do to there, you can do it to him, whatever. This Entertainment Weekly from September 1st, 2000, I'm on the cover. And I have expressed how much I appreciate this opportunity to talk openly about ideas like this on YouTube. So for the 10,000th subscriber, the 10,000th person to subscribe to my YouTube channel, we're going to send this magazine. Wherever you are in the world, we'll send you this as kind of a thank you for being part of the community. Let me sign it. There, I've signed it, autographed it. Rich Hatch, I survived. That's my tagline. Go ahead and find me on Instagram. Take a screenshot of your being the 10,000th subscriber, and we'll send you the magazine. Thanks very much for listening. Thanks for all your comments. I appreciate it. 80% of you who are listening to these videos have not subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe. Just hit the subscription button and hit the notification button, and you'll be informed when I have another video up for you to listen to. After you've subscribed, comment. Comment positively, comment negatively. No holds barred. Just say what you're thinking. That's what will make our exchange even more valuable. As I'm able, I'll create new videos responsive to that commentary. So like away, or dislike on that rare occasion you may feel the need to do so. But either way, thank you.